Welcome back. Now for your 5-day weather forecast, we go outside to Bailey Martell.
Starting tomorrow, we'll see a string of fall highs with temperatures at night hovering right above zero. Today will be partly cloudy with a high of 8 and a low of 2. Friday will be sunny with a high of 9 and a low of 2. The weekend will have nearly identical temperatures, and Saturday will have a high of 8 and a low of 1, while Sunday will have a high of 9 and a low of 1. Hopefully the sun can whisk your Monday blues away with a sunny high of 9 and a low of 2. That's all for your weather. Now back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Bailey. Turning now to international and national news. The National Energy Board says Canadians can expect to pay more for gasoline this winter. Heating your home with either oil or natural gas and filling your car will cost more. That's because there's expected to be a higher demand than supply. The board says unleaded gasoline will be between $1.20 and $1.40 per liter. The average heating oil price is expected to range from $1.15 to $1.35 a liter. The report says Superstorm Sandy, a cold winter and last year, and an increase in crude oil price are partly to blame.
BP Oil will pay about $4 billion U.S. in the largest criminal fine in American history for the April 2010 Gulf of Mexico oil spill. BP's seafloor well spewed about 206 million gallons of crude oil into the sea after an explosion on the Deepwater Horizon rig. BP has pled guilty to criminal charges and obstruction for lying to the U.S. Congress about the amount of oil spilling from the well. The final settlement amount will be subject to court approval. In addition to the settlement, BP will also plead guilty to 11 felony counts related to the deaths of workers on the rig when it exploded.
The Israeli military is in its second day of airstrikes and naval attacks against Hamas militia in Gaza. Israelis' attacks are in response to missiles amid to a Tel Aviv targeting about half of the population. Today, a military rocket originating from the Gaza Strip killed 3 Israelis. Over 15 Palestinians, including 2 children, had died since yesterday's assassination of Hamas leader Ahmad Jabari.
China officially has their next president and leader of the Communist Party today. Xi Jinping is succeeding former party leader Hu Jintao, who stepped down from the office yesterday. In 63 years of communist rule in China, this is only the second time an orderly transfer of power has happened.
What do Sidewalk Chalk, Light Bright, and the board game Clue have in common? Each one could be the next inductee into the Toy Hall of Fame. The class of 2012 is expected to be announced today, and childhood pastimes such as Twister, the Magic 8 Ball, and the Pogo Sticks are also vying for induction. To qualify, a toy must be widely recognized, foster learning, creativity, or discovered through play, and stand the test of time. 49 toys have been inducted, including Play-Doh, the Slinky, and the board game.
And now with sports news, here's Lisa Gillen.
Baseball's best pitchers have been revealed, begging the question, what's in the water in Tennessee? The Cy Young Awards given to the best pitchers in both the American and National Leagues were announced last night. David Price took top honors for the American League, and R.A. Dickey won for the National League. Dickey was the first ever knuckleballer to receive the award. Both players grew up in Central Tennessee and are represented by Bo McInnes. Nick Lewis of the Calgary Stampeders admits he may have gone too far in an attempt to be funny. The running back found himself in hot water after tweeting Monday that he'd bought O.J. Simpson's glove on eBay and was now in need of a white girl named Nicole. On Wednesday, the CFL decided the comments went against its social media policy. The policy says anything published publicly is the equivalent of a player being interviewed and should not disgrace the CFL in any way. Stampeders coach John Hufnagel says if the league hadn't fined Lewis, the team would have. He has asked all of his players not to tweet again until the season is over. And Lewis isn't the only footballer to find himself in hot water. Tim Dobbins of the Houston Texans was fined $30,000 Wednesday for a hit that gave Chicago's Jay Cutler a concussion. The helmet-to-helmet hit happened in the second quarter of Sunday's game, and Dobbins was flagged at the time for unnecessary roughness. Cutler played the rest of the quarter but began experiencing concussion symptoms at halftime. Dobbins says he's not a dirty player and was aiming for a clean hit. He says he plans to appeal the decision. And Dallas Cowboys' Dez Bryant may have his family violence charge dismissed. The wide receiver was arrested in July after allegedly hitting his mother with a ball cap and grabbing her by the shirt. Bryant's mother doesn't want charges filed, and he has already begun taking anger management classes. Bryant's attorney says the DA's office will dismiss the charge if he can stay out of trouble for 1 year. And in NBA action, Zach Randolph of the Memphis Grizzlies and Kendrick Perkins of Oklahoma City were ejected from their game last night. The two had an altercation late in the game that saw their teammates restraining them before both were sent to the locker rooms to cool off. The Grizzlies took the game 107-97. And Boston Celtics point guard Rajon Rondo had to leave his game against the Utah Jazz last night too. Rondo injured his ankle and was replaced by Leandro Barbosa in the third quarter. Boston won their game 98-93. That's all for sports. Now back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Lisa. After the break, we'll get the latest in entertainment from Melinda Warren.
A pop star sets out on a 7-day world tour, a popular chef fires back after a negative review, and the cast of Jersey Shore gives back to Superstorm Sandy victims. All of that and more coming up after the break.